Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Hello and welcome to another episode of Living the Dream with Curveball. Today, I am joined by Veshaun Jones. He is a musician as well as the owner of Fedora Outlier.com, and we're going to talk to him about all that today. Thank you for joining me, Veshaun.
Hey, curveball. I like that. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Definitely, definitely.
Oh, no problem. Let's start off by introducing yourself, telling people who you are, and a little bit about yourself before we get into the big things that you're doing.
Man, mm, it's been a long time since I've been asked that question, man. Who am I now at 44? I guess let's go back. 44 years ago, I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia. Um, I grew up and, you know, visually impaired and just trying to live the life, as a male and be as normal as possible. When we both know that wasn't the case, and me and my best friend now, who's also blind, joke about it because you're trying to be normal, but you bumping into walls, and everybody can see, you not normal. And going through my whole adolescence and all that stuff, man, and just grew up to finally realize that I wanted to change the perception about individuals that was disabled, and um, just how the world looked at us. So I've done several things, in between that time. But who I am as a whole is just a person who believes that individuals, period, and individuals with disabilities can definitely find or create work that is meaningful, purposeful, and profitable. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And so, any questions you got with that, I can dive deep into particular segments of it.
How did you get into wanting to start Fedora Outlier? I mean, that was a lot of stuff that you could have done, but what made you want to get into actually doing what you're doing now with Fedora?
Mm. So I'm probably what you would call a serial entrepreneur, which is a person that loves starting businesses, loves seeing them grow, and ultimately be successful, mainly financially. In the beginning, because I would grow them and sell them. When I became blind completely, I had a lot of sight growing up, but I was still visually impaired and, as they say, dangerous. Just enough sight to be dangerous. But when I went completely blind, I found out about vocational rehabilitation. I went through not understanding what it was, and, was one of those frustrated clients eventually, because I would see, different people get different things to aid them and get assistance with things that they need. And, even some cases closed out. And I'm like, well, I mean, y'all can get around to me. It's been a couple of years and I'm coming from executive level corporate. So I'm realizing that, you know, I'm like, y'all can't be doing anything because in corporate you would be fired by now. And once I finally realized, oh, this is how it works. I'd done a lot of stuff, like started a very successful chapter of the National Federation of the Blind. This is like 15 years ago, and it's still going strong with my best friend, Mr. Giorgio Vickers. But I invited my VR counselor out to talk to other people in the chapter as to how to close their case successful. And she told me that it's 80% you and 20% us. You have to know what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to go, all that great stuff. And our job is to help facilitate that. And once I realized, oh, all the work was on me, oh, let's get to work then. And I began to think of what I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to do three things. I wanted to help people across the world close out their vocational rehabilitation case successfully. I said I wanted to make a profit and I want to do something that I love doing. And what I loved doing was working with technology. And everybody told me I was crazy. I wasn't going to make any money. And, you're going to be driving around all day, seeing a client, every 3 hours. And this is the amount that they're making. And I'm like, nah, no, 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 no. I said, I don't want to do any of that. What I want to do is to be able to tap into the millions and millions of blind and disabled people that are on these cases that are absolutely going to need technology to make it. And I want to assist with the problem, which is not having enough cases closed on a yearly basis. And I said, if I can focus on that, helping people get what they want, I will always have what I want. And I was able to accomplish that. And so that's kind of the long way around of why I started Fedora Outlier LLC.
So explain what you do to help them get what they want. Explain your motto because your motto is kind of different than a lot of other companies.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. What I do is really have, they call it an assessment. I really have an in depth assessment with the person, find out about their personality, their drive, their goals, and I never say realistic goals because if you tell me, you want to go dig ditches and you blind, well, I mean, I believe you. You got to believe in yourself. And if you can sell me, I know we together can sell the counselor. And so I find out what the person really wants to do, and we come up with a, plan to make that really happen. And every case is truly different. You'll hear that from vocational rehabilitation. Every case is truly different. Every counselor has a different motivation to make it happen. And, one of the biggest things that I like to tell people is this is your life, this is your case. And if you want whatever it is that you want, you're gonna have to go after it. And I'm just here to help. And my counselor, as I told you back then, said it was 80, 20. I like to tell them it's 60% them, it's 20% me, and it's gonna be 20% them. But together, we're gonna make your dream come true. And so I really just travel the world and the United States talking to people, letting them know that, hey, man, this is something you can really, really do and really, really accomplish. And I think once they find that they got, a person that has done it, will do it, and believe in them in doing it, it kind of lights a fire up under them and makes them want to be successful at whatever it is that they're wanting to do.
How many clients do you say that you currently have right now, and how many have you actually helped successfully to close cases successfully?
Total clients right now is about 354. Now, these are technological clients. Particular individuals, and as far as closing cases, is probably about 30 plus because everybody is not coming to me to close cases, and Fedora just doesn't do case closures and all of that. That's kind of the overarching thing, kind of the giving back thing. But as far as what we actually do at our core is pretty much anything assistive technology based for multiple disabilities. So whether it's website ADA compliance and audit reports, whether it's being a expert witness at a trial for ADA violations, whether it's teaching a person assistive technology on Mac, Windows, or Linux, or any of the mobile platforms, anything that has to do with anything assistive technology, audio described videos, we are either connected or a forerunner in those things. Now the kind of sidecar, if you will, is individuals. will come to me and they say, I've had a VR case for 6 years and nothing's happening. Well, if I know what's happening and I can tell you right off the bat, here's what's happening. You don't understand the rules, so you don't know how to play the game. Therefore, you keep continuously feeling like you're losing. We can get an immediate win. I say, if you go in there and tell your counselor exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it, and what things you need to do it, I can guarantee we can close this case out in 6 months. And so those come as well, and it's kind of our benevolent thing. We'll do it for free as long as the person is 100% committed in making it happen. Because Kurt, people are getting meetings and they'll rah rah rah, and you all for it, and then you get to the battlefield, and they like, yeah, nah, this ain't really what I wanted to do. So and I know it takes a lot of effort to close out your case, and I'm right there with you, and you ain't with me. I'm like, well, I'm like the counselor. If you ain't wanting what you say you want, then it's nothing I can do.
How did you get the vocational rehab counselors to respect your business plan? Because when I was working in that field, I've had these counselors say, well, we don't want to pay this much for training with assistive technology. We want to pay $10 an hour, or we're not buying equipment no more. How did you actually get them to go along where you could make your clients successful?
Man, and I went through all of that. As a matter of fact, when we had the new director, one of his ideas was, man, we spent, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on technology, and we still got the same caseload we had before we brought the technology. So clearly, it's not the technology. And then, the technology was changing. It wasn't big old computers and this. It was, iOS and eventually Android and all that stuff. And of course, we had the Nokia's N75s with the talkback, and so technology was changing. It was getting cheaper. But it's amazing that you asked that question, because it was exactly that. It was a business plan that I share with everybody who wants to be self-employed coming through VR, and it's 100% bulletproof. It's super successful, and I tell them just copy it, because guess what? That's all I did when I wrote mine. There's nothing special about it. It just covers every question. Copy it, study it. Take the stuff that you need out, that I need it, that you don't need, and insert your phrasing there, and use it. And it's 100% successful. We literally have 100% success. Well, I'm gonna say 100%. One lady we was working with, God bless her soul, it was actually my wife's best friend, and she passed away. So we wasn't able to close out her case, but she was well on her way. But it's a plan of action, and I actually ended up with thousands and thousands. I mean, I had one, two, three computers, two iPads, one iPhone, a presentation Bluetooth speaker. Now, mind you, this is 12 years ago, when Bluetooth speakers was just becoming a thing. Website built, money for advertising, market, all that. Everything that a person needed to start a business, they purchased. And so the biggest thing with vocational rehabilitation is you have to justify why you need it. Well, I need a computer at home. I don't need to be carrying around my work computer, that I'm traveling on the road with. I need something at home and I need something for at work. So that was the two computers. At the same time, I need two iPads. Well, what happens if one breaks? Now I'm stuck. Well, you can just use the computer. No, I can't use the computer because there's different technology in the iPad. Well, you only need one. No, I need two. The same way you need a spare tire in the car, because I'm going to be presenting, and if one breaks, then I need a spare. And it was that type of talking where, they'll tell clients, yeah, no, you only need one. All we're buying is one. And I'm like, well, no, because this isn't your life. This isn't your case. This isn't your money. So we're going to need two. Well, I'm going to need approval. Okay, well, let's go get it. And so it's all about justification, knowing what you want, being assertive and kind, and making it happen.
What type of jobs are your clients and what type of jobs or businesses are your clients doing right now that you know of?
Man, the first time I really ever did it and knew that it would happen, it wasn't a vocational case because the lady really didn't like vocational rehabilitation. She was very well off, and came from a very successful family. She didn't know anything about orientation and mobility. And so I did send her through vocational rehabilitation with that. But she started a fitness app, and again, this is like 10 years ago. Podcast, website, all of that stuff, and that's when I knew that we could make this thing happen. And since then, we had individuals like Tamer to be one of the first blind people that I knew of to go work for Apple. We've had individuals start their own businesses, of course. We had individuals do audio described videos, website accessibility testing, website accessibility coding, remediation, just pretty much whatever it is that they went on to become authors and write books and, just a myriad of different things, other assistive technology instructors, of course. So just a bunch of things that, oh, we got one right now. She's wanting to open an Amazon store. So we're really in the initial stages of that. But the beautiful thing about it, Curveball, is they will come to me and they will say, hey, I want to do this. And, I go through the whole assessment thing. And then, we realize, okay, well, this is doable, of course, because you thought of it in your mind. So if you thought of it, then we can definitely find a way to make it happen, whether it's today or next year. Maybe the technology isn't there to do what you need to do right now, but, it can be, will be. So, they'll come to me and they'll have these ideas and then they'll go to their counselor and they'll be like, oh man, that was so easy. I did everything that you said and it worked out great. And the reason being is VR is a system. And that system works the same all across the United States. And once you learn the game, then you can play it and you could actually win.
Explain how Fedora has evolved from when it first started to where it is now.
Man, well, it was always profitable from the beginning, but I remember having to use technology, and luckily, all the technology, man, like blogging and podcasting and platforms, and the words that we use now, was new then. There were people making multi-millions of dollars, like Michael Hyatt talking about platforms and launching online products and all this stuff. So I was launching the online product, and now it's like, oh, okay, well, that's what you do, but we become super successful in it. And it was a fun journey. We pretty much, for real, do the same thing that we did before, which is, work in technology. And as the technology evolved and we got better devices with better operating systems, we was able to master the game with online courses as that technology progressed. Just the technology evolved, me with the success rate of helping clients, building a team, being able to get international contracts, and just living what I stated in my business plan that I wanted to do. I wanted to be known worldwide as an assistive technology coach. Back when nobody else was using that word. Again, we were kind of first in that transition. Back in 2008. When everything crashed and everything else was becoming new. We was that new. We were hated a lot. But now only thing a person can do is look back and say, "Man, he did that," and that's kind of how we evolved. We went from nobody knowing who we were or what we did or what the heck Fedora Outlier stood for and crazy name and all of that, to, just doing it. Thousands and thousands of followers, and I'm excited every day that I get up and I'm able to do something that I love, and it doesn't even feel like work. It's open up my email and there's tons of money and opportunity, and most of it, I find the right person in the world that I know that can, fulfill that goal. I say, hey, here's what we're paying for you to do it. You do it. We do it great. More opportunities to come, and that's just the way the world works.
What does the name Fedora Outlier mean?
So I love hats, and I love fedoras. What it signifies, a style, a elegance, a very bespoke look, if you will. And at the time, I was reading the book Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell, and it was on the whole 10,000 hour thing. And I said, once I get to the 10,000 hours, it'll be great. And so I believe I definitely have passed that 10,000 hour mark. But it's just a style and an elegance to it, a swag, if you will, and being separated from the pack. When you think of Fedora Outlier, you're not thinking of your, normal assistive technology specialist and instructor and all that. We're more than that, and I think our work speaks for itself in being excellent in how we do and what we do.
Talk about your training courses. Kind of briefly go through them and just kind of give a description and let people know how they're laid out and how they're conducted, and just give a brief overview of all the training that you offer.
Got you. So pretty much on any device, there's a blind person out there that's a master of it. Every operating system, there's a blind person that we're connected with that is definitely a master of that particular operating system. And we offer courses in using those devices and being able to use the operating systems. And they're all online. So it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week access. You can log in. You can take the audio/video courses at your own pace. There's benchmarks that you have to meet. There's tests and quizzes inside of the online portal. At the end, you get a certificate, and that's the online portion. Of course, we can come to you pretty much anywhere in the world as long as the budget justifies it. We've had a lot of that. If you're local in Georgia, then we can come to you. We can do it remote over the phone. We were really, truly one of the first people to pioneer remote teaching. It was kind of part of my business plan, way back when, to be able to offer remote teaching. Because remember, I didn't want to have to pay a driver to drive around for hours, to go teach somebody for an hour and then have to drive some. I didn't want that. That didn't make any sense to me with the ability to have remote training and teaching online. And so, we can do it remote. We can do group training. I mean, however the person needs to be taught, we can make it happen. And so, it's not cookie cutter. It's about getting the job done. And, however we need to get the job done, then that's what we do.
Are there any new products and services that Fedora is currently working on or creating?
Working on the stuff for Big Sur as far as the Mac is concerned, and working behind the scenes with whatever is next with Windows. Looking at some very specialized Linux stuff for individuals who need to be able to use that, especially on the server end and using those tools. We actually just launched a new company in January, right before the pandemic, dealing with website remediation, and that's huge because a lot of the websites in the world are not accessible, and we work to make them accessible using blind computer scientists to do the coding on the back end, and our quote unquote regular blind people to do the testing on the front end. And so we built a end-to-end solution to be able to charge corporations and nonprofits and whoever needs the service. Um, a lot of times they've been sued, and it's kind of an emergency. And as you know, in business, if it's an emergency, then it comes with a higher price tag, which allows the individuals that work for Remediation RS or Fedora to, um, make a pretty good living. So excited about that being my next baby to grow into, you know, something large as well.
Let's flip over real quick and talk about some other stuff you're doing outside of Fedora Outlier. You're also a musician. Talk about your band and how you guys got started and what you guys are currently doing.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. So we got started in the pandemic, and so we never really had a chance to practice. But just like with any other business, is there waiting. Everything is there. The branding is there, and when the time is right, then we put something out and we perfect it, and put it back out again, and we make little tweaks, and eventually we got something that's pretty hot. Um, of course, we're gonna be playing other people's music as well as our original music, and if we're playing our original music, it's our point of view on that particular song. And of course, if we're playing someone else's, we're not gonna do it just like you know the radio, and so that's our point of view and perspective on the music. So that was kind of the impetus for the band name. It's six of us total. Kafir Nicole lead vocals for female, and we were in a play together a few times. A play called The Church, and she was one of the singers, and I really, really liked her voice. And when I thought about the band and forming one, I definitely thought about her. I love um, the sundry sounds of a great female vocalist. And so it started with me and her. Um, and then I said, well, I need to put together all the rest of the pieces. So I found my keyboardist. He was a keyboardist at the time, but his real passion, and remember I talked about passion, was playing the drums or playing the bass. And I said, well, if your passion is drums, then let's let you play the drums. I found another keyboard player, and one of my friends is a bass player, and we were able to get him. So we got Travis Evans on male vocals and keyboard. We got Bernard Miller on drums. We got Eric Epitome Smith on bass. We got Ray Mentor on guitar, me on multiple saxophones, and Kafir Nicole as lead female vocals. And we do a bunch of the 90s and 2000s and old school covers, and all of us have our own projects and all that stuff. So that's a little bit about the band and what we do and how we do it.
What advice would you give somebody out there who is trying to live the dream, whatever their dream might be? What would you tell them?
The same thing I tell everybody. 5 years from now, you'll be in the same place doing the same thing, except for the people that you meet and the books that you read. So find a mentor, somebody who's doing what you want to do, is where you want to be at, and read books. Don't just read books on the things that you want to do, but read, Tim Ferriss, The 4 Hour Work Week. Read Think and Grow Rich. Read the, seven irrefutable laws of power. Read the E Myth revisited. Read books, like Who Moved My Cheese, so that you'll get the language inside of you to be able to have conversations with the people that you want to communicate with. Because, if you want to be working with a high level individual, I can guarantee they've read those books multiple times, probably once a year, because it is truly what business is. I was listening to a lady today say, well, I'll circle back around with you on Tuesday. I'll circle. I'm like, okay, that's that corporate bullcrap talk, that means nothing. I don't need you circling back around, but everybody says it. And that's not the talk or the attitude that an executive, who have read these books and who's working at a high level, is even using. So, and that's why I say you got to be able to recognize it. And so get you a mentor who's truly doing what it is that you want to do, and you can go out there and make it happen yourself.
Give out some contact info, website, social medias, YouTube, Facebook. How do people get in touch with Fedora Outlier, or how do they hear music from your band?
Got you. So the band name is Point of View, POV. So Fedora Outlier, Facebook.com/POV. You can Google it. It's probably the easiest way. If you need to call me, my direct number is 404-368-8779, and everything else you can find on FedoraOutlier.com. So FedoraOutlier.com. And so, yeah, it's all right there.
Is there anything else that you would like to cover that we haven't touched on?
No, man, it's all the same thing. You got a dream, you got a goal, you got a desire, you got something that you want to do. Find somebody to help you. Express that dream. Never be afraid to tell people what your goals are. It's stupid not to tell people what your great idea is. So how you gonna get help if nobody knows? People think, well, it's so great that somebody's gonna steal it. No, I got too much other stuff to do to steal your idea. But if I can help you with it, if I can put you in touch with somebody that can, help you achieve that, then, ultimately you'll get there. So never be afraid to tell people what your great idea is. Just make sure you're telling the right people that's going to breathe life into it, and not somebody that's negative that's going to tell you, oh, that's not going to work, And the counselor is the last person you want to tell your great idea to until you have it cemented and fortified as to what you want to do, how you want to do it, what you need to make it happen, because her job is not to birth your idea and make it great. Her job is to facilitate what you need to make it happen. So that's probably what I would want to leave you guys with.
Ladies and gentlemen, Veshaun Jones. Thank you so much for joining me, Veshaun.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.